This week I've been driving the 2025 Genesis GV80. This is currently the flagship for Genesis, topping out with the twin turbo V6 Prestige model here, over $80,000. I've been taking my kids to school. Let me tell you, they've been spoiled. I picked my parents up from the airport in this. Let me tell you, they were spoiled. And make sure to stay to the end, because after I'm done walking around and driving this vehicle and reviewing it for you guys, I'll go ahead and head back to the office. We'll get into not only my spreadsheet to compare to other vehicles I've compared this year and rank it, but we'll also see what kind of deals we can find on the market. This week I've been driving the slightly refreshed 2025 Genesis GV80. This vehicle is still the flagship for Genesis, the flagship SUV. There's also the G90 flagship sedan, and this will carry the flagship duty on the SUV end until the Neoloon concept eventually makes it to Genesis as a fully electric flagship in the next couple of years. But at the time of this recording, there's news coming out, official news from Genesis. They will have a rear-wheel drive biased hybrid coming to power these vehicles besides the current powertrains that we have. All right. So for 2025, we did get some updates on this Genesis flagship SUV. Again, placeholder flagship until the Neoloon concept makes it to production as a GV90 or whatever they decide to call it. But the updates up front are very minute. We still have this beautiful grille. The Genesis logo here, again, it looks very, very fancy. They also updated the headlights, so they're more in line with the G90 flagship sedan. A little bit more chrome here at the bottom. This is actually the Prestige model with the twin turbo V6. You can get the Prestige trim as well with the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. We'll get more into the powertrain details here in a little bit, but this one tops the price tags at about $82,000. This paint color, this matte paint color, is new for 2025 as well. This matte green, I think they call it store green. It doesn't, sometimes it looks a little green. It's a very, very subtle. It looks like matte gray most of the time with some greenish hints. I think it's a beautiful paint color. These 22-inch wheels are also new for 2025. I love this, guys. Let me turn on the turn indicators because this car is a showcase at night as well. Maybe one of these days I'll review this car at night, but I did a lot of night driving with this vehicle this week because my parents came into town. So I drove about an hour to the airport they flew into, and this thing was the perfect VIP showcase to pick them up in. Like, it was incredible. Anyways, I love the turn indicators here. Very, very fancy. No one does it like this, guys. Most of the I don't know, other luxury competition they put on the side mirror. Love the turn indicators. The parallel lines here just look so premium. And then the back end, I haven't got to the back of the vehicle, just very, very clean rear end to this vehicle. And they have kind of got rid of the exhaust tips. It's just kind of like the little swoopiness down at the bottom, like two lines. It's almost like a recreation of the vehicle's grille up front. You know, I'm a fan of exhaust tips. I'm a sucker. I know that they want to go more and more electrified, but Genesis, give me some fat, juicy tips here. I'm not getting it. Now, that chrome continues all the way around the vehicle, the very bottom of the bumper, the mid bumper, around the windows, on the top of the roof rails, roof rack area, on the side garnish, all right, and even the blinker area has chrome. Now, I typically hate chrome, but Genesis has pulled it off. It looks really, really, really good front to back. I've got so many compliments this week. My neighbors stopped. They're like, what are you driving? They're like, it looks amazing. And I'm like, you know, it's the Genesis GV80, no big deal. It's $80K. What you get for $80K is an absolute steal. So make sure to stay for the end. Lifting this assisted hood with the dual struts on each side is a twin turbo V6. See twin turbo right there in the shadows. No Genesis badge here on the engine cover, but man, is it a pretty presentation. We have a longitudinally mounted rear-wheel drive bias platform here. All-wheel drive is standard, even if you get the 4-cylinder model. This gives you 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. I'm seeing about 20 miles per gallon combined. And then you also are going to have the base engine, which is going to be, I don't know, possibly the more widely available option. You can get that around $60,000 starting with the 2.5 turbo 4-cylinder. Just because it's a 4-cylinder, don't underestimate it, because it has 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Now, both transmissions are identical and all-wheel drive is identical between These two powertrains still have an 8-speed all-wheel drive standard with a rear-wheel drive bias. 0 to 60 on this is about 5.7 seconds, and the 4-cylinder is about a half second behind 0 to 60. So what you're going to benefit here is just, well, one, having the clout of a twin-turbo V6, all that extra torque and whatnot, but the silky smoothness, guys. I haven't driven a GV80 with the I haven't driven a GV80 with the 4-cylinder quite yet, but I know with this twin-turbo V6, it is buttery smooth. I have driven a GV70 with the 4-cylinder, and I was very, very impressed with it. Now, this vehicle is a lot larger than its smaller GV70 stablemate, so maybe you want the twin-turbo V6 instead, but unless you're doing a lot of highway driving, you're probably not going to really see the daily benefits of the V6 over the inline 4. And as beautiful as it is outside, and you guys can see the Gulf of Mexico or America, whatever you want to call it, we're going to have to take this into the shade so we can get some better images of the interior. Now, you don't have to be a perfect parker with this big vehicle because the 360 camera does a great job helping you out. I'm not gonna slink all the way up against the wall here because I wanna open the cargo area. So let's start there. Now, the cargo button here on the rear tailgate is actually underneath the rear wiper. Would have been nice if the rear wiper was tucked under here. Yeah, but you have a digital rearview mirror and that could pose a problem. So here we go, it's gonna open up. Hopefully it doesn't hit that pipe. All right, if it does, you guys didn't see it. Good, plenty of clearance. And actually there's enough clearance here for me to dip my head under at 6'1". You can get this GV70 with a 3rd row option, and that's only available on these V6 trims. There's only 2 V6 trims. You can fold down the rear seats here. You have accessory power, all carpet lined. You even have the Bang & Olufsen sound system speakers built in back here. Tonneau cover, old school tonneau cover. You do have the net, but I wanted to show you the underfloor storage, so I undid the net. So a little bit of storage here. And then you have a fix-a-flat kit back there with additional rear storage. So that means there's no spare tire on this luxury behemoth. All right, so let's go ahead and close this down and get into the back seat. All right, again, like I said, my kids have been enjoying this vehicle this week to its maximum potential, I would say. You can also fold down the seats, but they take forever pressing this button. That's when I'm kind of old school, and even though I love luxury, motorized seats in a vehicle in 2nd and 3rd row, they always take forever. I'm not patient enough. All right, but looking at this window, the material's fantastic. Even we got that brown interior option here. I'll talk about more interior options here in a little bit. But if I want the sunshade, even if the window's rolled up, I hit it again, the window button up, and there it goes. If I want it down, there it is. And if I want to roll the window down, there it is. All right. Also, you have single pane glass here, but I don't know if you noticed that. There's a soft close there, or a soft opening. So at the very bottom, it slows down just a little bit. All right. And so small touches like that, but it didn't soft close. Interesting. It still did full speed all the way up, but at the very bottom, it slowed down. It's the small touches like that. But I want to show you guys also, when we're talking luxury, we have soft closing doors. It closes itself. Love that feature. All right, get on the inside. These are kind of like the diamond pattern seats that you get in the Prestige. They're fantastic, very, very regal, very luxurious. Carpet in here is fantastic quality. Headliner is this suede, this brown, which looks great. The kids been playing with these mirrors. I'm glad that they're still working, the vanity mirrors on each side. You also have this, which is standard throughout the lineup, to move the seat forward and back for more space for this passenger back here. All right, you may be able to see the ambient lighting down here. It's currently at purple. We also on this model have heated and ventilated rear seats and additional accessory power here from USB-Cs and AC 115 volt. So we're going to go ahead and get into the front seat of this fantastic luxury car. We also have smart key access on both doors here. Getting on the inside, the front door looks just as nice, except I don't have window shades up here, of course. Bang & Olufsen speakers. The Bang & Olufsen system in here is amazing. I do get a little rattling at sometimes in certain songs, but it's right up there, I would say, with Lexus's Mark Levinson. It gets so loud and it sounds so good. I do have massaging seats in this model. We have leg extension, thigh extension, and when you just hover your hand over different parts of the seat control, and I'm not moving the seat, I'm just hovering my hand and barely touching each control, it's telling me where my hand is. All right, so we have adjustive bolsters, we have adjustive lumbar, massaging seat, adjustive thigh. Like, this is a dream come true sort of seat. All right, steering wheel is also fantastic in here with the two-tone. You also can option this with two other interiors. You can get a black interior which has like wood accents instead of this, I don't know, this looks like it's laser etched. I like it. It's not, I like the design on it. I wouldn't say it's like a very premium material or anything, but it's way better than glossy black. And I think the base 2.5 turbo models come with glossy black in certain instead of this nice light pattern. But this is very, very nice. I enjoy it. But I think the black interior comes with a wood grain, and then you also have the white interior, or they call it the beige, but it looks white. And then the top of this, instead of it being black, it's green. I love that interior, but I also really like this one. I'd be happy. Also, the heated seat in here, it also comes with a heated armrest, which is pretty amazing. Drive modes here, you can open this up for your wireless charger, USB-Cs, and you have your rotary dial if you want to use it, but this is also touchscreen. So I find instances where I'm using rotary dial, but I also find instances where I'm using the touchscreen. So both are awesome options here. You also have your twist by wire or drive by wire with your little crystallized piece here. And you have your drive modes and 360 camera. I already showed you the 360 camera earlier. And you also have ambient lighting around here, over here, blue here, it's purple up there, so you can have a two-tone customizable lighting experience. Head-up display, so you guys can see that head-up display. It does display your music in color. It does display also your turn-by-turn navigation, which is fantastic. This screen here, this 27-inch OLED screen, is brand new for 2025, and it is one of the best implementations of any screen I've ever seen. I've driven some fancy Lincolns lately that have also big screens, but this is done better and more tasteful and actually more customizable as well. So when I drove about an hour up north to Punta Gorda airport, I know Punta Gorda is what local Floridians call it, even though the Spanish founded it and it's Punta Gorda anyways. This is super customizable. I'll show you how I had it set up when I was driving. I had my Android Auto. Android Auto was connected to this wired when I picked up my parents, so now I'm just connected in it wirelessly, which I believe in the past, like a lot of Genesis models did not have a wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So that was always frustrating to me. And since I forgot my cable this time around, I'm having a heck of a time, of course, wirelessly pairing it. But back to this, I was able to pull up my Android Auto here. I had my Sirius XM playing over here. My turn-by-turn was on my head-up display. Like, the customization you can do with these screens is absolutely perfect for me. I'm a huge fan. I still can't connect after sitting here 15 minutes. So I'm gonna lose my frustrations out the window, just throw them out. Here's the thing about this car that does not feel quality, and that's the paddle shifters. They feel garbage. I'm in a Kia K4 this week that has better feeling paddle shifters to this. So I act like these paddle shifters don't exist in this vehicle because it's not up to the quality of pretty much everything else in here. You know, if you want to go through presets, you have this little scrolly tile here, and then you can see the pictures of the head-up display on the head-up display of the stations and whatnot. Also, your steering assist in here is fantastic. The radar cruise control is fantastic. Volume knob is right here and here. Scroll wheel, volume knob, climate control, I love in here. Yes, most of it's touch panel, but I still have physical climate control temperature. I have auto, I've my heated and ventilated seats here. I really like this setup. It's really, really clean, it's functional, and I prefer this much over compared to like a Lexus that puts it all into the touchscreen. I like how I have a dedicated panel here. It's great. So with that being said, let's go and start driving the incredible Genesis GV80. Now, as I'm leaving the parking spot, as it was just idling, guys, it idles like butter, like an old school Lexus V8. It's so smooth at idle in here, guys. It's very, very impressive. There is a start-stop engine feature in here, which I'm not a big fan of. It's overly aggressive. It will kill the power, even if you have AC on quite aggressively. And so when it does cut the engine off, your AC power and coolness just drops out of the sky. So there's a GV70 there. And that's why I really like this cancel start stop button over here by the drive mode knob, and I pretty much turn that on every time I'm in the car, especially when I need heavy AC so the engine doesn't cut off on me. All right, if you can afford an $80,000 vehicle, you're not worried about fuel economy that much. But if you are, you know, you can wait a little bit longer and maybe you'll have a performance hybrid that does get maybe 30 miles per gallon instead of this 20 miles per gallon. In town, it's going to be worse than 20 miles per gallon, probably close to 18, 17, 18, depending on how hard you're putting the pedal down. On the highway, like I said, a little over 20 is what I've seen, but I was also hustling this thing at like 80 miles an hour. There's also a customizable, brakes are great in here. So this lady's backing up and this guy's just walking. So the brakes in here are fantastic, really smooth. The ride quality when you're braking is nice and composed. This thing feels huge. It's huge. This vehicle feels huge, but I don't mind driving it. I typically don't like driving big vehicles. I'm more of a small vehicle person, but like the 360 camera in here and all the parking sensors make it a lot easier. All right, now ride quality, guys, it starts out in comfort mode and it is just a cloud in here. Genesis has crushed this vehicle in terms of old school luxury. Even with the 22s, I just have this soft, floaty ride, which doesn't translate well to like throwing it in the turns very well. I mean, it's a heavy, huge, tall vehicle, so when you throw it in the turns, it does, you know, like to lean over quite a bit. But I just twist it into sport mode or my customized mode, where I have it in the stiffer suspension setting. And this vehicle handles a lot better. So since I have like near perfect roads down here in Collier County, I prefer to be in the sport suspension setting as well as the sport steering wheel setting. Oh yeah, it's just so smooth. The V6 sounds good, but it's just enough of the V6 grunt, and it's never like it's never imposing into the cabin. All right, it just adds to the experience hearing this V6 purr away. But most of the time you never hear it because at idle it's completely quiet and vibration free. Yeah, like I can kind of hear the engine on if I'm really straining myself, but there's zero vibrations through the pedals, the steering wheel, through the seat. It is amazing, the NVH levels here on this vehicle. So let's go ahead and accelerate. Oh yeah, baby. It's just so good. So good. All right, and I'm not even in sport mode. You know, the ethos of this vehicle, its spirit, it doesn't really want you to push it. You know, some people might, but like the ride quality, even in the stiffer settings, is still very soft. So like, you know, the twin turbo V6, I really want to test how it compares to the inline 4 because it is just so smooth at idle that if the inline 4 isn't as smooth, I would just get the V6 for just the smoother idling. I don't need the extra power that this engine has. It does sound good, and don't get me wrong, I love the V6. I have nothing to knock on it, but I'm like, you know, you could probably save 20 grand, have a really, really close experience that I'm having here in this Prestige model, but with the inline 4. Now, excuse me. Now you can get the inline 4 with the Prestige package as well if you want to save like 10 grand. It's like 8 to 10 grand difference. Gosh, this Mazda 2 is a turtle. Now this transmission, it's not the fastest shifting, but again, I'm not in sport mode because I just like how chill the engine transmission is here most of the time, and I still have enough torque in 99% of the situations where the transmission doesn't even need to downshift. Like it's so smooth and unbothered, the powertrain in this vehicle, as well as the suspension. Now I'm getting another luxury SUV next week that compares quite well to this, and that's the newly refreshed 2025 Acura MDX Type S. That focuses for sure more on the sporty end, and this vehicle focuses more on just the old school luxury feel. So it'll be good to compare that after driving this. This nails old school luxury better than everyone else for the price point. There's no doubt about it. All right, this feels like what Lexus should be, but Lexus has just front wheel drive everything unless you get their truck based platform. At least when I'm talking about their SUVs, right? I really wish Lexus had rear wheel drive. Acura, you know, they are very front wheel drive biased, of course, but their super handling all wheel drive does make up for it. But there's something when you get into the power of a rear wheel drive luxury vehicle and its smoothness and how it puts down the power, it just feels right. I can't really convey it over, you know, a camera or YouTube, but how this vehicle lays down its power just feels so smooth and so proper for a luxury car. All right, now again, I have the sporty suspension setting here. Let's throw it in the turn. And then downshift, and then into the brakes. Like, even in sport mode, she really likes to throw her weight, but it feels good when you're powering out of it, at least because of that rear wheel drive shove and like so much suspension or softness in the suspension that the booster seats were flying all the way across the vehicle. So huge amounts of body roll, but that's okay, because in a trade-off, I get insane amounts of ride quality, insane amounts of lack, I should say, of noise, vibration, and harshness in this vehicle. It's just old school luxury that you don't see anymore. Seemingly everyone's just gone, oh, sporty is what people want. Sporty is what people want. That's not what everyone wants. If you want sporty and that's all you care about, maybe you go for like BMW. All right. This vehicle has all the performance I could want. It's more of like an old school muscle luxury vehicle. Great performance from the engine, but a smoothness that you just can't get nowadays. It's very rare to get this sort of feeling. It feels like the soul in here is a 30-40-year-old luxury car, but it has all the tech and features of cutting-edge modern cars. Like, it blends the two worlds beautifully. And it has a muscular and pleasing exterior that commands attention, it commands respect. And then you get on the inside, you put on your massaging seat, your ventilated seats, and you can just chill. And it's so quiet in here. I didn't even mention how quiet it is. I talk about, because I'm just so overwhelmed with the smoothness and the lack of vibrations in here, that like it's really, really silent. I even have the panel roof open, which, you know, sound can vibrate off or bounce around off that top glass there. It's still so quiet in here. Driving my parents back from the airport, my mom was like, wow, we made really good time. I'm like, I drive fast. She's like, really? You were driving fast? I'm like, yes, that's the characteristics of a fantastically built and executed luxury car, is that you really never know how fast you're going because it always has the same composure. It's never bothered by speed. Okay, so, you know, when you're going fast, where's the wind noise? There isn't even much road noise despite having 22-inch wheels. So me driving this on this road here on the bay, as you see boats and high-rise condos, I feel one with this area. This is the perfect SUV for it. A high-end lifestyle, except it doesn't have a Bentley price tag. It doesn't have a high-end Mercedes. Here's the thing, guys. I test drove last year, maybe 2 years ago, a Maybach GLS 600 from Mercedes. Look at this old truck. But like, I wasn't that happy in that vehicle. The tech was overwhelming and maybe not the easiest. This Ford truck is so slow. They might be topped out here, I don't know. But oh, and it smells terribly. Let's make sure we have recirculating air going. Oh my gosh, that I smell like I'm in the exhaust pipe of that truck right now, if it even has an exhaust pipe. So I am going to do a U-turn here because I'm getting choked out. All right, sorry, Kia Sorento. I'll speed up so you guys don't have to worry about it. Oh, just so smooth. That V6 sounds so good. I love this vehicle, guys, and I'm done oozing and goozing about it, at least here in the car. Let's go ahead and head back to the office, look at GV80s in my area. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Genesis or my local dealer, but my local dealer here in Naples, it's the #1 Genesis dealership, I think, in the entire United States, possibly even the world. I see Genesis here as often as I do Lexus. It's mind-blowing. All right, gosh, that exhaust, you know, I haven't smelled any exhaust from any vehicle all week until that old Ford truck. Okay, I don't know what this Model S is doing, but Jersey plates, maybe they're talking to people, you know. Anyways, let's head into the office and continue our oozing and goozing, even though I said I was done with it.
Looking at GV80s in my area, let's just go ahead and first look at what kind of allocation for trim levels that we have. What are we seeing the most of? Actually, weird. We're seeing it bookend with volume. The 2.5T, we see a ton of volume. You're also seeing a ton of the top end twin turbo V6, but hardly any of the advanced package. So it looks like Genesis buyers, they either want the big engine with every single feature, or it looks like they want, hey, give me the base model. It's a beautiful, beautiful price to luxury purchase, I guess you could say. And let's go ahead and click it on the 2.5 liter. For example, I can find one as low as 59,000 in my area. I wouldn't mind the small wheels. You know, the smaller wheels, fatter tires typically provide better ride quality, and the GV80 will do this in spades. Now, look at the interior, guys. This is the base model. Look how nice this interior looks. You still have the 27-inch OLED screen. The trimmings are pretty nice overall. It looks like we have some glossy black, not quite. I mean, it's more annoying than the white trim that I had in the Prestige model. But it'd probably bother me here and there, but yeah, a little glossy black here. So the finishings aren't quite as nice, but look how nice these seats look. And unless you need third rows of seats, you don't really need the twin turbo V6, but it's a luxury car. No one needs anything. All right. So I think this is an incredible buy. What about the twin turbo V6? Well, we're seeing a little bit of price drops off of MSRP, not much, at least what's advertised, $1,000. So this is also an incredible buy for the type of luxury and power and sophistication you're getting, and the clout on this vehicle as well. It's just, I get so many compliments on it, as I mentioned already. So with that being said, let's pull up the spreadsheet. Luxury, we'll put luxury CUV, right? You could put crossover, or you could put SUV technically, since it's rear-wheel drive bias. We're reviewing this on 427. Is it a solid buy? Of course. Is it an excellent purchase? Of course. Is it take my money? Well, that's going to be, it's tough. Would I put it up there with some of these vehicles I've driven so far? Do I enjoy driving it as much as these other vehicles up here? And the answer is probably not, but I think it actually deserves to be up in here. I think it is S-Class. The GV80 is that fantastic of a luxury vehicle. Think of it, guys. I preferred, here's the thing, other than the twin turbo V8 and the SQ7, I prefer everything else about the GV80. Like, maybe not doesn't handle as good, but from a luxury standpoint and what you're getting for the price, it's a take my money sort of vehicle. So I'm going to put it up here below the Cadillac, and we're going to slot it in the S tier, guys. It's just such a fantastic vehicle. The comfort, the luxury, the style, the price point. They have made a vehicle that is what Lexus it feels more Lexus than a modern Lexus. Or should I say, it feels more like an old school Lexus than any modern Lexus. Soft, plush ride, rear wheel drive biased, an interior. Guys, the interior quality here is just incredible, and that's something Lexus used to do and blow everyone else away, in my opinion, was the interior quality. Now Lexus has got so cheapened over the years. I'm not saying it's a cheap car, it's cheaply built, or it's not going to be reliable, a Lexus, but the interior of a Genesis blows away everything else for the price point. The tech is fantastic. I should probably make some, can't spell it, beautiful interior, smooth. It's in the smooth category, guys. And that is one of my favorite categories. And it's just, I mean, I could keep writing. You know, a lot of people like to say it looks like a Bentley for less money. And nah, yeah, it's not going to come close in some areas, but it's going to hit like 95+% of what a Bentley can do for, you know, way less money. All right. This vehicle is fantastic. You know, the looks, I think they've improved since the pre-refresh. You know, I get compliments on this vehicle, right? But to me, it's still not as nearly as attractive as like the GV70. But man, driving it, it's fantastic. I'm happy in it. The massaging seat's great. I mean, the tech is a 10 out of 10. And the comfort, the materials, like I can't say enough about this car. It is expensive for a luxury vehicle, but if you think about it, at that price point of what it sells at, it's as good, if not better, than all of its rivals, essentially. It's a fantastic vehicle. It's not the sportiest, it's traditional old school luxury, and I'm okay with that. All right, so if you're looking for traditional old school luxury, not so much sport, but just kind of like a muscle smooth V6, I mean, it's just so good. I can rave about this vehicle for a long time. So it's an S-Class, and there's other Genesis vehicles that I hope I get to again this year that I've reviewed in the past that will be S-Class as well. Wow, what do you guys think? I will see you in the comments. And yeah, I would take this over an RX as long as you don't need to have a hybrid, right? I'd take it over an RX. I would take it over any Infiniti. I would take it over an Acura MDX Type S. Ooh, it just depends if I'm feeling sporty that day. Now, Mazda CX-90 is kind of like a more affordable version of the GV80. All right, so if you're like, man, I love the GV80, I just can't really afford it. The Mazda is a more sporty GV80 for less money. And Mazda CX-90, if I review one this year, will probably be S-Class as well. I love that vehicle. But I'm going to end it there, guys. I can't say enough good things about the GV80. No car is perfect. I mean, if it was, maybe it would come free. But like for the price point, just does everything so well. And thank you guys. Have a great day and peace.